Hi everyone and welcome to this video review of the brand new Imperfect Synth by WA Production. First I want you to know that this is not a sponsored video, I just picked up the synth for about 15 bucks, what makes it a very low budget synth. But is it worth buying? Let's find out. Okay, so let's start by playing the demo track I made after spending a few hours with the Imperfect Synth. The demo track was made using only the Imperfect Synth and some kick drums and percussion. No external effects were used. So, here we go. So, I hope you enjoyed the demo track that I made. Now let's get a bit deeper into what you can actually do with this synth. Let's open up a new Imperfect Synth and let's listen to the initial sound. Let's change the decay and sustain of the sound a bit. Okay, let's get started. So on the left there are two main oscillators. There is a sampler, a sub and a noise. The main oscillators can generate 4 different wave shapes: a sine, a triangle, a square wave and a sawtooth. You can change the octave and you can detune the sound. There is a visual representation of the sound wave in the display in the middle. In the mixer, we can set the volumes of each oscillator. Let's create a sound in Oscillator 2 and mix it with Oscillator 1. Okay, sounds like shit, just as I expected, but now we get to the interesting part. There is a ring modulator that generates a ring signal that's modulated by Oscillator 2. This way you can create some awesome aggressive sounds. We can add a sample to this, but this brings me to the first disappointment of this synth. To add a sample you have to open up the browser again every time. You cannot scroll to the samples in the same directory with the arrows next to the sample name. So if you want to listen how a sample sounds together with the other oscillators, you have to load it manually every time. Also, I wish there was a mute button above all oscillators on the mixer, so you could hear sounds individually or in different groups. Now if you want to hear only the sample, I have to slide the other mixers down and later back up. Okay, so next up in the mixer we have the sub. The sub takes the octave of oscillator 1 minus 1. So if oscillator 1 is on octave 0, the sub will play at minus 1. You can choose between the 4 waveforms as a sub. Finally, there is a noise oscillator where you can choose between 5 noise colors. Let's go for a white noise here. On the right side of our display we can find the filter. There's a high pass filter, a band pass and a low pass filter, and we can change the cutoff and the drive of the filter along with some other basic filter settings. Nothing special here. Next, there are 2 envelopes. Envelope 2 is controlling the gain of each note, and of course you can change the attack, decay, sustain and release times. You can also set an additional parameter to modulate. Envelope 1 is controlling the filter cutoff, and here you can also set an additional parameter. Next, there are 2 Lfos. You can choose between 6 different waveforms and you can set the target to modulate. The effect section can be found next to the Lfos and consists of 3 effects. There is a phaser, a chorus and a delay. Let's hear the delay. You can sync the delay to the tempo or you can set your own, and with the feedback knob you can set the length of the delay. Next to the delay, there's the chorus. And the phaser. On the right side, we can find 3 sliders called Wacky, Cracky and Shaky. The Wacky slider increases the amount of the 3 effects left to it. The Cracky slider adds saturation, and the Shaky slider messes with the pitch of the sound. There's also an Arpeggiator where you can set the mode to up or down and choose the number of octaves from 1 to 4. There is a tune button where you can tune the overall sound up or down. And the glide button where you can set the glide amount between notes. You can set the synth to poly or mono to allow different notes to play at the same time or not. Last but not least, there are two XY pads, and on each pad you can set two parameters to modulate. You can create some cool effects this way. Of course, I have to set the amounts to modulate. Let's set some parameters for the second one as well. There are three different modes you can set to create effects. In mode A, you just drag the ball on the XY pad to change the modulation, and once you release it, it gets back to the center. In mode B, you drag and release the ball to launch it, but this doesn't always work well, so I hope they can improve this in an update. Once the ball is released, it keeps moving at the same speed endlessly. And mode C is kind of the same as mode B, but it will slow down and come to a stop. One disadvantage is that when you set a movement in option B, once you close your DAW and reopen it later, it's not moving anymore. So you will have to set it again, or you need to record as audio before closing your DAW. So, now that you've heard the demo track I made, and you've seen the functions of the synth, please let me know what you think about the synth in the description below. Personally, I like it because it's very easy to use, except for the sample browsing, and I'm missing a mute function on each oscillator. In functionality, of course, you can't compare it to synths like Serum or Massive, but of course it's not in the same price range either. At a $15 price point, I think it's a very good synth if you're a beginning producer or if you're just on a low budget. As always, you can download the FL Studio project file for free. Check for the link in the description below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos in the future. Until next time, bye bye!